All right, guys, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to BuddyHour. I'm Komegatze. No punchline. Say hello.
Hello. All right, so I just want everybody to go ahead and introduce themselves, do whatever they do. This is our first podcast we're ever doing. We thought about doing this for a while now, but we're now getting around to it because it just randomly came up in conversation. So I want to go ahead and start with Beltway. Go ahead and tell us what kind of stuff you'd like to do.
Pretty typical like every other, gamer out there. But I'm trying to start up and stream. I've been doing a little bit of streams and obviously it's kind of starting up, so it's gonna be a little slow. And I'm just trying to hopefully get it consistent to the point that I can start streaming a little bit more, at least as a little side hobby just to start doing. So,
Yeah, and just streaming or like, are you gonna make videos too?
so I'm trying to do a little dabble into videos too, just to see as a which one I prefer. But I think streaming might be an easier method for me, to be honest, because the whole editing video seems kind of rough.
Yeah, it can take a few hours. It can be a little daunting because something I've come to find out, like when I first started like making videos, is you have this whole idea in your head, and you actually get down to editing it, and you're like, oh, I actually don't know how to do that yet. So
Yeah, especially when like you have someone like pretty like high up in editing skill, and you're just like, I can do that. And you're like, oh, okay, this is a lot more work than it looks like.
it turns out it's not so easy.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, now I know why they don't upload so often.
That reminds me of those like TikTok edits people will make. They'll make it on CapCut. I always think it's like maybe there is some sort of preset on there, but after I mean I already have experience with editing and hit film and Sony Vegas. And I thought it was gonna be easy to do it in CapCut because everyone says it is, and I went in there and I'm like, this is annoying to work with. I'm just gonna go back to my own editing software.
I mean, I think CapCut, I swear it started as like an iPhone video editor. I don't remember it being on Android. It might be
I
now, but
remember.
It's
I
on
remember
Android
seeing
now.
it on. I was gonna say I remember seeing it on iPhone, so it might be.
yeah. I mean, it was always an iPhone. I didn't know it was on PC though, but that makes more sense.
It's on the website and on phone as well or
Okay.
Android.
Well, I want to get to Crisscross. What kind of stuff do you have planned, or you just, go ahead and tell
Just a
us.
guy. I don't really have anything planned. I'm
Just a
just
guy.
working and going to school.
Hey, but he's cool. Let me tell you, he's a really cool guy. And of course, you have Komegatze. I mean, you're on this channel. I mean, you might not know who he is, but I mean,
Yeah, this is I'm Komegatze and I like to make animations on YouTube for fun because well, not because I don't make enough money, but that's just part of it. But if I did it only for money, I swear I'd be depressed because I do not like making things that I don't have fun making. If I'm not having fun, I just cancel it.
can you talk about the commission you had, or
Are
like,
we gonna talk about the Skibidi toilet commission?
yeah, like, is that something you can talk about, like, without giving too much
Uh,
detail?
well, I probably can't go much in the money stuff, but there was someone who's well, I'll go into it to a little bit, because I'm not gonna name any names is what's gonna happen. So basically, there's this guy who commissioned me on Discord, and he was claiming to own like five different like big YouTube channels. I was like, nah, this guy not for real. But he had like two of them comment on one of my community posts, uh, to like prove to me. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy is kind of legit. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever amount he's paying me, if he has these like really big ones, like some of them were really big.
Mhm.
One was like a chess. Well, one was like a Minecraft channel. It was a pretty simple one. One was like a chess championship. It's uploads those to YouTube. Another one was like a true crime type like police interrogation channel. Which I actually watched a couple of those videos. They were pretty good.
Like,
Uh,
is it one of those channels where it's like, I swear I've seen a lot of these channels and they must hire because this is before the whole AI voices were more like
yeah,
better.
cause they have a guy in there like but or I was like, oh, but this criminal is going to realize this happened.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
always the
okay. So
same like guy, you know?
Well,
yeah,
it's
I
not
know.
always the same guy, but they have like the same just way of speaking.
True.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what like they're talking about because they're very prominent in like the criminal like kind of like police kind of stuff like YouTubers.
Hmm.
So like it's always funny because I see those and they're so different compared to the other people that do like the police videos and like the hand by hand videos because it's just
Hmm.
completely different. Like it almost kind of feels like they're kind of comedic in kind of a way because they're not like as serious as the other guys. The other guys are like damn, they go into depth. Like if you watch like anybody like Officer or Operator Donut, like all those people, like the bigger
Yeah.
ones, they're way more in depth, and it's just like wow, because I that's where I started out was watching those people
Yeah.
first, and then I got up my way up to like Operator Donut and all those guys because
Yeah.
they're a lot
But
more
the
interesting. I would recommend watching those if you ever want to
um,
get like really into those things. It's pretty cool.
but the one channel was like it was it plays out sort of just like a documentary you'd see on TV or something like that. So I mean that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, okay, so if this guy can do all this, then like whatever he's offering me is probably legit, like he's actually gonna pay me. Because I feel like if someone has this many channels and he hasn't gotten into any trouble, he, you know, seems pretty trustworthy. So I was like, okay, well, what do you want me to animate? Because I didn't know, like, I didn't see any like animation channels yet they had made, and, and he asked me, he's like, "Oh, you know the Skibidi toilet animations on YouTube?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." And part of me was like, my soul left my body. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's hear him out a little bit." And it's interesting because the conversation kind of started out as, "Oh, well, I want something like that." Just just in the format uh
The
of
Skibbidi toilet
there
episode.
these no, like in the format like, oh, these certain characters are fighting each other and the clip's like 30 seconds long, and then you could like make a series out of that, and it doesn't have to be Skibidi toilet related. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. And then it started out like a pretty normal conversation. Like we started brainstorming ideas like, well, what if instead of Skibidi toilet, it's like these TVs that project like the hologram of like not necessarily a faceless character, but a very like nondescript head, and it would talk in like like old fashioned text to speech, like the give me the plant, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and then the conversation just led to, okay, we're just gonna make like a straight rip off. It's gonna be like exactly the same, but I mean not exactly the same but it's an original animation, but there's it might as well be the same thing.
'Cause
So, and he was like, "Oh, I'll offer you like $500 for this animation." I'm like, $500? Damn. I'm like, okay, for 30-second animation, I'll make less of that from YouTube for animations that long. Okay, that seems fair. And I started working on it, and then like over time, I can't remember exactly how the conversation went, but the price he was mentioning kept lower. Oh, no, no, no. I remembered why it started lowering because he was like, "Oh, by the way, if you have like any other animators that would be able to also be commissioned for this, because what he wanted to be was kind of like be one of those cinema channels where they just um that
like,
this will usually happen with like Five Nights at Freddy's animations where they have a bunch of animators just have two groups of Five Nights at Freddy's characters like fight each other, and
oh,
and that'll be like the whole channel thing. So he was kind
Oh,
of like
okay, okay.
doing like that, but for Skibidi Toilet, I guess. Um, and so he was like, asking that for recruitment. I was like, oh well, I know this guy. I did like a Five Nights at Freddy's animation commission with before, and I brought him in, and I guess that person who's one of my friends, he's I won't name him, but if he hears this, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about.
Who else is animating that?
But I guess his prices are normally pretty low, or like commissioners don't usually go that high, because when I gave them the contact information and the guy who was commissioning me started talking to him, he's like, he doesn't go, oh, hey, I want to pay you $500 to do this. He's like, hey, I want to commission you. How much would you want to be paid? And the guy's like, probably, he probably gets paid, I think it was only like $100 or something like that normally. So he's like, oh, well, I don't know, like 100 to 150. And then the person who's commissioning me, he comes back to me and says, oh, well, this guy says that he'll get paid $100. And I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah.
You should be like,
No.
cool, but that's not
And
me.
I went to the DMs of the other guy. I was like, like, you're not supposed, I know you're not supposed to technically share like how much money you're being earned with other employees, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
especially for commission's sake. But I was like, no, dude, I wasn't doing this just for me. I was doing it for him because he's lowballing. He accidentally lowballed himself so hard. By a lot. I'm like, no, dude, you don't understand. He was willing to pay me like $500, and then he was like, and then my friend was like, no, what have I done, dude? I'm sorry. I'm like, bro, it's fine. You didn't know, and you probably normally get paid that amount. It's just, and so then I was already starting on the commission, and the guy's like, well, oh, maybe just like $400 would be fine. I'm like,
I mean,
okay,
you already
that's still
started
more
on
than
it. Like,
normal.
how could he? Why would he like? I mean, I don't really know
Yeah,
too much about.
like now, I would be like, no, you pay me. Either I just delete the SFM file, or you pay me like what you said I was owed to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty
But then
typical
I was
for.
I was so like, I was like, I don't like canceling animations halfway through, so I just wanted to see it through, because the FNAF commission I worked on with the other guy a while ago, I canceled that halfway through only because the part, I have to split SFM sessions into parts, because if they get too long they start corrupting. Well, the second part's corrupted, and I couldn't get it back. And this was on Source 1 Filmmaker, which is significantly more unstable, and I just lost all motivation to work on it. I was like, can you just like pay me half and have someone else finish the original? And thankfully the commissioner on that was willing to do that, and that's where the friend came in, and that's, so that was pretty helpful. But anyways, the price just kept going down until it was like $100. I'm like, whatever, man. And I barely put any effort into the animation after that. I was like,
I mean, that's so.
and
like,
it felt like the most soulless thing I've ever made. Like, I don't want to ever make a Skibidi toilet animation, like, ever. Ever. Like,
I mean,
I don't think you understand how hard it was to how long it took for me to lock this character's head onto the toilet while also hiding their arms, and to animate them while the toilets are moving. And man, it was just, I hope the animation never sees the light of day. I haven't even seen him post it, so.
well, like the way I would think.
I got paid, but not as much as I was originally offered.
And that's like scummy. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know so much about commission stuff, but like for example, if I commissioned somebody, like, I don't know, to whatever, to like, let's say like, hey, I want you to make this sword for me, like with blacksmith or whatever, and they're making it. I was like, I'll give you like $1,000, and then they're making it, and they're like, actually, can we do 800? Like that
Yeah.
sounds so wrong. And then being like, okay, well, listen, I know I said 1,000 to begin with, but hear me out. $300. Listen, I know you're already in the process of making it.
Yeah. Artists smarter than me will be like, no, I'm not even gonna give you the sketch.
Well, that's a lot of the haggling part of it, because a lot of people try to do that. Where that's why some artists will have in there like no haggling. They have just straight fees,
Yeah.
because a
Yeah.
lot of them will do that. They'll go for one
And
artist that they really want, and then they'll go for one that's a little bit underneath that skill level, just
Yeah.
to see like, okay, well, what is he gonna do for it? And he's like, all right, well, this guy wants to do it for 80, and the other guy wants to do it for like 120. Well, if you're pretty much kind of on the same skill level, why can't you do it for 80? And then that's how that normally starts a problem with a lot of the hagglers, because it's pretty
Yeah.
common in a lot of things, not just like artists. Like even like it's so funny. Like even with the CS:GO stuff, like I was looking into stuff like that, and people will do that too. They're like, well,
Yeah.
on the site it says 300, but what people are paying right now is like 200. So they're like, all right, I'll give you 200 instead of like the price it should have been. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. What people don't understand is that artist to artist, like, what they put their commission prices is more of, it's not so much as, how much skill there is. It's more of how much time is this gonna take me to make, and make it so I can't do other things, and also how difficult for me it's gonna be, and you have to think about both of those, and that's different from person to person, um, because some people, even at a very similar skill levels, will take their time on their projects because I mean, for lack of a better word, they're just built like that. And some people can like absolutely rush it and it'll look good. But yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why you can't just compare with other people, because that's not how
yeah.
that works.
Yeah, I mean, I get it too, especially with like the time, like, and I think that's also why they try to do it, because they like in their eyes they see, okay, if this person spends a lot of time on this project, what are the odds of them being like, you know what, I'm gonna scrap all this hard work I did? They're gonna be like, no, they're gonna be like, you know what, I have to see it through, so I'm gonna have to just accept your price. And it's like, no,
And also,
especially
that's easier to do when you want to make it. The thing is the commission, you're paying them to make something they may not even want to make.
yeah.
That is true. That is a different side to it. But like he, so I don't even know who this guy is, and I don't want to be like, oh, this is exactly how that person is. But like, if they have multiple channels up, and I'm assuming that like he's basically just all those channels are like all contributed by like contractors essentially, is what I would imagine them. They all are. But like he probably has
Majority.
experience doing that. He probably did that knowing he could get away with that. I mean,
Yeah.
that might be
Yeah,
why he
probably.
even initially asked you that question. Hey, do you know any other people that
'Cause-
would do this?
Yeah, because he was giving, because some of the reasons he was giving for lowering the prices, he was like, well, I don't, I've uploaded some videos on the channel already, and at the moment they're not popping off as much as I expected them to, and part of me was like, well, that's like YouTube, bro, like that's a whole different ballgame. That's just because it's Skibidi Toilet, it's not going to make it popular. It's got to be made by the main guy.
Yep.
Other than a few like exceptions, So, yeah, he was like, "Well, I don't know how well it's gonna do, and it's not doing so well like all right now, so I don't want to invest like too much into this." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever, dude."
It's like, you're just commissioning me to make this, like, whether or
Yeah.
not your YouTube channel is doing good right now. Like, should that
Yeah.
even be something that goes into it? Like,
No, not really, because he basically promised the $500 at the beginning.
he
And
already
you were
made a
talking
deal.
about oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, you were talking about like the source stuff, right? Like you're talking about how
Yeah.
like the old one was corrupting. So like, were you working on a newer source when you were
I,
making
I
this one?
was working on the newer because I decided I would never touch the old one again.
So like, what's the big difference, to be honest? Like, I'm always curious too, because I mean, you talk about it every now and then, but like,
Yeah, it's
never really.
so in Source 2 Filmmaker, there's a lot of better things. Like there's much more lighting options. There's PBR materials, which there's a thing called like roughness, metalness, and ambient occlusion, and those will all be textures that if you combine them together with a color map and a normal map, which enhances how 3D a model looks, it'll make the final model or material look much more realistic. So things like roughness is like, oh, how wet or dry is something, and metalness is like, well, that's kind of self-explanatory how metal it looks. Or I guess how it's usually how clear the reflection is as well. I don't know. You'd have to like work in the program to like really like feel like you can't really explain it like
Yeah.
easily, but if you know, you know, you know.
Yeah, I
So
get you.
And also like isn't
so there's
Source
stuff
One
like that.
unstable?
The performance is better. It's like 100 times more stable. Like in Source One Filmmaker, it would crash like at least once a day, if not sometimes five, depending on
That's rough.
how many models are in there. But in Source 2 Filmmaker, it like crashes like once every like 3 months. So,
The
and I
vast
have to be
majority.
doing like I have to have the particle editor open where there's a bunch of sprites on the screen, and it's like you know.
Yeah.
And then other things is like the Hammer, the built-in map maker, and the Source 2 tools is just it's actually like fun to use. And Will knows this, or Punch knows this.
Yeah.
He's used I've taught him to use the program a bit, and he made this like is it like a liminal space bathroom? Is it like one of those cursed bathrooms with it had stairs in it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'll pull up the picture on screen for anybody that wants to see it. I think it's still on your Twitter account.
Yeah, I still have the SFM session on my
I may or may not
archive.
have it anymore because I was before I had my SSD. I think
Might have been.
you know.
So yeah, other things is like shaders and um, just I don't know. To me, it's like a significant upgrade. The only like big difference to things that I'd want from the original SFM that I'd want in this one is like this one doesn't have water. So
For
I
some
always make
reason.
I always make jokes where like this old game I was like, oh, this old game got water before Half-Life Alyx.
That's
So,
funny.
but yeah, that's the main things anyway.
And talking about Source, I feel like everybody has at least played one Source game, or like they know about a Source game, but they just never realized that like Valve, just not as like a software company, like or like making hardware with like VR, like
You know,
their games have been extremely influential, and most people have seen them, like Gary's Mod. When we had the whole period on YouTube where
Yeah,
everybody was
where
making
it was really
Gmod
popular. Yeah.
video, exactly. So like what, and
it's
every
still very popular even.
it
Yeah.
is, and
Like I
there's
still
even more
get
ways to
plenty
do
of
it.
Gmod animations recommended on my YouTube page, even if I don't even watch that many.
So much so that like people will even be like, "Hey, Komegatze, I like your Gmod animations." People
I mean,
still
like
don't
it
know.
don't even look like that. They just use like Half-Life characters. It's different.
What do you mean?
I,
It's G-Man. I mean, it's Gary's Mod Man.
oh, it's the guy from Skibidi Toilet.
Whoa.
I never know how many of those people are saying that unironically or not.
Probably a
Like how many
big
of those
percentage.
are kids that are genuinely like oh, it's like, why is Skibidi Toilet Man? Wait, Skibidi Toilet Man is a real man?
Yeah,
Like,
I
I'd
feel like
never
that's
know.
the same problem they have with like Fortnite. Where they're like, "Oh, this
Oh,
character's from
yeah.
Fortnite." And I'm like, "No."
Oh, my goodness, Snake from Fortnite.
I can't believe Metal Gear Solid stole Snake from Fortnite. How spineless of them.
But yeah, but like talking about Source games, like I think the first game I've ever seen that was Source was the Orange Box, and even then I didn't really know what it was. I just knew of it, and like the first game I actually played was probably like CS:GO, and I was like, I remember playing it a long time ago on my cousin's like PC, and I was like, what is this game? I've seen it a few times, like whenever it was kind of like popular, whenever it was starting to be brand new, and I was like, well, what is this? And I
Was
think
it?
that's like, or go
Oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, it was like I didn't know how I feel about it because at the time I was a console gamer, so like anytime I tried to touch my mouse, I was like, no, this is foreign. I'm not doing that. And like
It
I
feels
just remember
wrong.
just yeah, I looked at it. I was like, where does your like why does it feel like it's like so free? Why is it not heavy with the with the aiming? I was like, I don't like
Yeah.
this.
Feels like
Eh,
there's no weight to it at first.
Yeah, especially when like you come from a game where you like ADS a lot and you're like, where can I aim?
Yeah.
I was like, uh-oh.
That's true. How long ago was that?
I'd say it's a few years, like give or take, maybe.
So it would have been Global Offensive, not like Counter-Strike Source or
No,
just
yeah,
Counter-Strike.
yeah, no, not kind of source, but like the actual Counter-Strike itself.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
I mean, the
Yeah,
orange box had bangers.
Yeah. The first Source game I got introduced to was the Portal 1 demo. I played the Portal 1 demo. Actually my dad was the one who introduced me to it. And I played that, and I did terribly on it because I was way too young to understand how Portal puzzles work.
I feel like that's everyone's experience with Portal is like
Yeah.
they just did things they didn't know what was going on.
Yup. Yeah, it was fun though, and like the atmosphere in that game, like I'm still like really nostalgic for it whenever I do replay it. It's so creepy, but in such a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like a cool game.
I mean, I played a little bit of two, and that's because my cousins were like, they had like so many obscure games because they're like their family was like the ones where it's like you can't play like rated M games until you're a little bit older. So like they were playing like all the obscure games, which was kind of cool for them because they actually sold me a lot of games I never even played. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. And like Portal was one of them, and I remember it was the second one, so I was like, it was so like weird to see the robots and stuff. And I was like, well, I'd seen the first one, and I was like, well, where's the human at? Why is there robots? And they're like, oh yeah, this is the second one. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And even then, like like the robots only show up for like, the campaign. I think Komegatze, I don't know if you know, but in single player, can you see the robots at all?
What do you mean? Can I see that? Oh, you mean like
Like-
the Atlas and Peabody
Yeah.
robots? I think they're mentioned, but I don't think you see them.
I mean, that would have just added the confusion. Like, well, first game you're playing as a shell, and then
Yeah.
you can see yourself in the
'Cause-
portals, and then you're just a robot.
Because there's like a moment where like Wheatley is like, oh, it's like I don't need you anymore because I found these two like robots back here meant for testing. I think that's how it's like mentioned or something like that. So-
Gotcha.
but that's about it in the campaign. Oh, you do see them. No, I remember that. You see them at the ending when well, spoilers.
Spoilers for anybody who played this
when GLaDOS is like, oh, I deleted Caroline for my memory, so now just go, and you go up the elevator. You can see the two robots there because that's what she's gonna use from now on for testing, and that's how it leads into the co-op multiplayer.
What are they even
Gotcha.
testing for?
They're just, I mean, Portal is it's a satire, so they're not really testing anything. They're just testing the test. They're like,
just testing for the sake of testing, dude.
yeah, it's like a for the sake, yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of how it works for like people inventing things. They were just like, well, we want to just see what works and what doesn't, and what can make doing this easier. And so I suppose the tests are to test the portal gun and how many ways you can use it. But it gets kind of like silly over time because it's like, well, how many times do we need to test it in this many ways to figure out what it does? We know what it does.
No, well, we have to like put this person in like for like we have to torment them for like years. Wasn't like Shell asleep for like a long time or something like that?
It's unknown how long she's asleep because at the beginning there's like this robot that malfunctions. It's like, you've been asleep for 9, 9, 9, 9, and it never says like if it's years or months or days or anything like that. And it just keeps going, so you have like there's no way to know. It's far enough in the future that like plants have like overgrown the facility, and it's been like mostly abandoned except for a couple robots there. So yeah, it was a while, but it's unknown.
It's got to be like 40 years or something. Because I'm just thinking about those abandoned Disney parks that they get like fully overgrown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even then,
Yeah.
like for it to be as like green as it is, it takes a while.
Yeah, like even like all the floors are like messed up and like they didn't just
Yeah.
It
grow
would
over.
definitely
They
be
went
over
up.
40 years if there's that much overgrown.
Yeah, for sure.
True. Well, have you guys heard of wasn't there like places in New York where it started getting overgrown and it wasn't even that long before? I feel like it wouldn't take that long as long as you're not cleaning it. You know, if there's nobody there doing nothing, I don't think it would take too long
I
before
guess it's just the
plants would
the
start
uh
growing
the
through.
sustainability of it. Like
Yeah,
if it's a good place for plants to grow, if there's also sunlight and the weather, of
yeah,
course. So I guess
yeah.
it just depends.
Because in Portal 1, all the floors and stuff are clean. There's no humans around because they've all been killed by GLaDOS. And GLaDOS is like GLaDOS and Shell and I think in other test subjects maybe are the only ones in the facility left.
And that's because the Combine hasn't gotten them to you.
See, that kind of annoys me because uh they were kind of just like, oh, these models, people are gonna realize because I think Portal 1 was kind of like made on a budget, so they used like Half-Life 2 models for it. Um and like barely changed anything about most of them. And so like, oh crap, people are gonna like notice this and they're like, Portal and Half-Life share the same universe. And the writer of Mark Ladwell was like, what? Okay. Then, uh, and so that problem with that is, and I think I heard an interview like later where Mark was like, well, I understand it from like a franchise standpoint, like combining their universes together, but like from a writing standpoint, it's very limiting because whatever happens in the Half-Life universe has to conform to the Portal universe as well.
Yep.
Which makes Portal 2 kind of confusing because if it's far enough in the future, is it like, because at the ending, Shell comes out of where she is and she's in like this really nice cornfield or something like that, which is not what you'd expect in a Combine taking over world. So, like, is this before the Combine took over? Because, let's see, what's his name? The guy who owns Aperture. Guy's like Cave Johnson. Oh, Cave Johnson here. Not Cave Johnson here. That's not his name, but Cave Johnson. Uh,
You know where you got taken over by a dude named Cave Johnson.
No
I
way.
don't know. He's my second personality. Um, but Cave Cave Johnson mentions Black Mesa, which is the research facility that Gordon Freeman worked in. And so is that like, well, is Shell going into a world like after, like maybe Gordon Freeman won and the Combine are gone, and this is like years after, and the world is healed after that, or is it like, does this take place before the Black Mesa incident happened and the Combine have not even arrived yet? I don't know.
And then like, does Shell leave with like the portal gun or anything like that?
Um, she leaves with the companion cube.
I mean, like even like the little thing she has on their
I don't think she
ankles,
leaves with the.
or just like
Oh,
anything.
maybe with the long fall boot.
Like,
I think she brought that with her.
or like, wouldn't she be like, hey, like if this is before the Combine stuff, wouldn't she be like, try like at least tell somebody what happened, or wouldn't the Combine eventually find
I
something
think
to do
Shell's
with it?
canonically like a mute, so she cannot tell anybody anything.
Man, she can write. She says she can grab a pencil.
Yeah.
She can type, you know.
Well, we have never seen her write, so we have no idea.
Maybe you just didn't want to. Man. Come on.
You know, that's
I
actually
think
Maybe
there's
fair.
like
you
a
just
bunch
woke
of.
up. Yeah, I mean, you just woke up from I don't know how
I
long.
think there's like a bunch of jokes made by like the robots where they say she's like stupid or something.
Yeah, but she does the puzzles though.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. I mean, if you do the puzzles.
She was smarter than me when I played the Portal demo for the first time.
True. But like, besides Portal, like what other Source games did you guys end up playing first?
Obviously, TF2.
Yeah,
I feel like that's like everyone's go-to game
Yeah.
as soon as they get like a PC. Like they just play like TF2 because they're like, oh, free game. And I think some people just like hear about it and they're like, all right, I'm gonna try it out. Or they
Yeah.
probably played it from like, like the Orange Box and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that was the first Source game I played. Yeah, after Portal 1 demo, I might have played Left 4 Dead at a friend's house. on their
Oh
console,
yeah,
like split
yeah.
screen.
That might be
I might
everyone's
have.
first game actually. Now that I think about it, Left 4 Dead. I
I don't know
forgot
why I
about that.
forgot about Left 4 Dead for a second, but like, dude, I
We're
spent
not
so many
supposed to
hours on
because
Left 4
it's
Dead.
too good. It's too
Yeah.
good for it to forget.
I mean,
Especially on Xbox, yeah, I know a lot of people that's probably their first game. If they were to be like, yeah, it's my first Source game.
Yeah. What
Tell
about
me.
you, Chris? Chris?
Say it again.
Like what have I mean you've played Source games, right? Like games made by Valve.
A few times.
What was what was the first one you played where you remember playing?
Old ass CounterStrike game that I played
Oh.
in like 10th grade with a group of my friends.
probably playing like
Nice.
not even Source. He was probably playing like 1.6 or something.
Yeah, Counter-Strike 1.6.
Yeah, it was like a long time ago. I never played CounterStrike before.
Did you do
Kinda
good?
fun. Yeah, I did good.
You did better than me, man. I didn't even get a single kill when I first played.
I feel like original Counter-Strike might be easier, to be honest.
Probably. I mean, people like whenever I see people play like old Counter Strike, it doesn't like obviously it doesn't play like CS:GO or CS2. But like people are like moving around more and like moving around and shooting more.
It seems more casual.
I feel like it does seem more casual, but like I feel like at the same time it's probably like insanely more difficult or something.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, even if you
'cause-
see if you see the high plays, it's pretty crazy for the older CS:GO.
Yeah,
Like, well,
because a lot of people who didn't feel like switching over to CS:GO, they stayed with like Counter-Strike for like the rest of their lives, and so that's like the only thing of Counter-Strike they play. So they're probably like really really good at it. They're probably like sweaty at this point on that game.
like if you ever like take a look at people playing like competitive on like Train, dude, that
Mhm.
stuff is crazy.
Dude, I hate Train. Oh my goodness, bro. I don't care how like competitively viable it is or all the cool things that happen on Train in tournaments, bro. I hate Train. I hate that.
I
hate going
only
through all
like
sites.
Train that one time we were playing before Counter-Strike 2 came out. Um, and I still have a clip of it on Twitch that I have linked in my Discord server, but it was when I think I planted the bomb and they got 2 kills afterwards, and I felt like, damn.
Whoa.
That was back when I was significantly worse at Counter-Strike as it's compared to now.
I think my only map I don't like in the game, even in like the first one, was like Overpass. I just cannot play Overpass for the life of me.
Yeah.
It just feels so
Yeah, it's-
weird with like the way that it's like built, where it has like a tunnel, and then having that other way where you have like to go up the steps.
The tunnel
to
is
see
probably like the worst part.
yeah, especially if you go against a good team that knows how to like throw nades, you're never gonna get out of there.
Especially then. It just
Yeah.
feels like you can't. It just feels like all lines attack. I mean, B side, that's the underside. A side's the
Yeah.
top one. But
Yeah.
like B side, like for us, I think it just feels impossible to get into from
Yeah.
any way, dude.
And I mean, that probably doesn't help that a lot of people played it. So like everyone's like, oh, I played Underpass all the time, so it's not that hard. And you just know the areas to throw and everything. I'm like, oh, it sucks.
Hey, but wait until they get on Vertigo, though.
You're
Wait
so
until they
true.
beat the
Vertigo
Vertigo
gamers.
Warriors.
Vertigo gamers.
Vertigo
Mirage, Mirage is one of those things where like I have beef with it, but it's not like if I lose a Mirage, I know why. You know, because everyone plays Mirage. Like that's everyone's bread and butter. I feel like for most
Yeah.
part. So I know why I lose. It's like these guys always know the angles. They know the smoke patterns. Like I'm just not gonna make it.
And I don't like Mirage. I'm sorry. I know it's like cool. I know it's like it probably is the most played map. Besides
with
us two.
bananas.
Besides
Yeah.
us two.
Yeah, but Dust 2 is like
Is
Dust 2.
Mirage the one with the banana?
Well, there's multiple
Or
bananas.
is that Inferno?
Inferno's the one that's like
Yeah,
in
Inferno's
Spain.
banana. Yeah.
Okay.
Mirage is the one where like people are like, oh, he's in Palace, or like there's
Yeah,
like
he's
a
in
window.
Palace, yeah.
Oh, that's like that's the much more Middle Eastern one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the one we always
Okay.
play whenever we play like
Okay.
or play
Yeah,
Premiere. Like they
I don't
always
like
pick
that one either.
Mirage.
No,
I don't like that one either because
Yep.
middle is like
It's a death trap if you don't if you're not
Yeah.
if you're not ready for it. It's a death trap.
yeah,
So
pretty
guys,
much.
I'm gonna go ahead and segue us to something that's related to Source, but maybe not directly Source games. But I want to talk about Komegatze. What has it been like being in the Source community?
I mean it's a lot better than some communities. I don't know.
A little bit of
As
shade.
far as
I mean,
I mean, most
I can definitely see that, especially the communities I've been a part of. Like, most people have been a part of. Like, you can see which ones are pretty bad just from looking outside.
yeah. I mean, I think in most cases, most of the usually when I look at the communities, I look at either Twitter or Discord. I don't look at like the Reddit communities because Reddit could literally be anything.
Yeah,
True.
that's true.
Yeah, and let's see. On Twitter, it's kind of like fine, but then like usually there'll there'll be arguments here and there between people, and it usually has to do with like people making mods for uh for like Half-Life or Team Fortress 2 or something like that, or this guy said something that was like really inappropriate. This one guy is a groomer. This one guy leaked the TF2 source code.
Casually.
Yeah, casually. I mean,
Casually.
it's sad to say that, but that's pretty much like how Twitter
I
is
mean, it's
nowadays.
been like every version of TF2 source code's been leaked like 4 times.
And it'll probably get leaked again.
It will
That's just
yes,
like
likely will.
CS:GO, man. CS:GO stuff gets leaked every time
Dude,
they enter a new update.
That reminds me of there was this time where someone was mentioning what was it? I think someone said that, oh, this person or this team in the community leaked something, or they, like at first I was like, oh, well, why doesn't Valve, I feel like a lot of the community members like can be trusted, especially the ones that they've worked before on mods. It's like because Valve, at least old Valve would hire modders when they're like, oh, the stuff you made is good, like we want you to work for us, that sort of thing. So it was kind of like bizarre to me, like, why Valve wouldn't do that. And then someone was like, well, this person who got access from the source code from Valve, they what was it? Oh yeah, they leaked it. So that's like one of the reasons why Valve doesn't trust them. But upon also Hunt Down the Freeman happened around the same time, and I'm like, oh well, I suppose that makes sense. And then someone's like, and I was like, okay, well, and I repeated, what I heard from a bunch of people I trusted what they said, and someone else was like, no, that's not what happened. Someone like hacked this team's thing and then leaked it. It was not the fault of the community or something like that. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. And some guy was like, well, it's too late to apologize now. You should have like thought of that before you said it. And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
mean
what?
that's pretty much Twitter though. Like Twitter is very quick and they're very emotional. That's probably why I haven't been on there a lot.
I'm like, I wouldn't have said it if I didn't think it was.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to argue with people like that is just it's impossible. Like you can try all you want to like tell them your reasoning, and they probably will just completely see red and just not ignore it.
Yeah, as far as the Twitter side goes, that's kind of the worst it's gotten.
Yeah.
As part of the communities on Discord I've been on, it's a lot nicer.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. And in my Discord server, I make sure that people are following the rules and being pretty nice, and most of the time, I mean, Punch is a mod on there, and not much happens over there negatively.
Almost nothing.
Most of the people who post in there are artists and other friends of mine, and so I mean, and most of them are in the source community. I can't think of any of them that aren't, and so I mean, there's been a couple people on other Discord servers who are like, oh, this person's like reposting people's models without their permission and then like claiming that it's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think majority of the source community is pretty good compared to other ones,
I mean,
other
yeah. I mean,
communities.
even from what I've seen, like just from like a spectator, just seeing like the outside of it, because I'm not like you are like integrated. It doesn't
Yeah.
look as bad as other communities I've been in or have seen. So it seems pretty nice and chill.
Yeah.
so the thing is with Twitter, Twitter has such a weird culture where like everybody wants to like uh fight each other.
Yeah,
You
for
can even
sure.
see with this whole like, oh dude, get ratio. Like everybody is like so obsessed with like
Yeah,
being
they
like
want to one up each
antagonists.
other all the time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because no one wants to lose. That's really it.
Yeah.
To be honest, no one wants to lose an
Max,
argument.
it's
They don't want it to
max
be like
narcissism and people with too much pride going at
so
it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no point like the thing is like people that actively like consistently engage in like just attacking people and like arguing with them, like these people are like, nah, there's like they will not ever change their minds about like
No,
anything. Like in
of
their
course
head
not.
you're like you're wrong no matter what, and they're
Yeah.
right and they're the protagonist and the main
Yep.
character.
I mean, to be honest, they probably have like a whole list of, oh, these are all the battles I won against this guy, this argument. Like every argument I've never lost. I'm like, no, dude, you clearly just didn't want to lose. You said you won it regardless if you lost or not.
Yeah, some people I've seen argue on there, I swear they must go in the shower every day and think of like if this person says this to me, this is my response to them, and they have like that for like everything that someone has asked.
Yep.
Like I feel like they train themselves to like respond in a way that like may or may not be true, but is just jarring enough to the person listening to it that they don't
Yeah.
know how to
Trying to
respond without
respond. Yeah.
sounding dumb, even
Yeah.
if they're on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of that post is someone was like or what was it? It's like just because you're getting cooked doesn't mean you were wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like a lot of like Twitter quote unquote arguments are just like, oh, I'm just insulting you. I'm just insulting you, and
Yeah,
I hope
yeah,
people side
Twitter
with
has
me.
definitely gone down from when it was like, okay, we're giving valid arguments. Like this is the reason to just I'm just mad at you, and this is why. Like, but you're not even like some of them. It's pretty funny. You can see like they don't even argue. It's just them just like I just hate you. I'm like, okay, well, what does that do with the argument?
Dude, Twitter used to be
Yeah.
better when people would just like people with like no profile pictures used to tweet out like I just ran somebody over, and people were like, "Oh, dude, that's so funny!" Like it was funnier back then. And we're like, so I'd be like, I just put a hot dog in my microwave and it fucking blow up or something.
Yeah,
But now
Yeah.
it's like, oh my goodness, like I am going to win this huge argument.
yeah.
Hashtag
And I
ratio.
think it's partly because of obviously like it's pretty understandable with the COVID stuff. So a lot of people just became heavily online, and some of them just just didn't want to leave, so they just stayed
That's true.
online.
Yeah, COVID made it so significantly worse because then
Yeah.
people stopped going outside, bruh.
Hmm.
And Twitter became the real world, and
Pretty
all social
much, yeah.
interactions became Twitter arguments. And when
Yep.
that's your only interaction with other human beings, that probably isn't really good for you. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
But how like you said, like the whole community on Discord is much better, and I imagine that's why, because there's like people actually have to like abide by rules. They can't. Okay, I know
Yeah.
on Twitter there are consequences, but most consequences on Twitter aren't even like bans per se. They're mostly just
Yeah,
like everybody attacking you at once.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
This might be a unpopular opinion, but I do think Twitter was significantly better before it got sold, before it started being called X.
it was
'Cause
definitely
now
less
it's
moderate.
just it definitely got worse. Like even if it's like the same as far as the people like arguing with each other,
Mhm.
like there's so like you can't go opposed without seeing like like the bots just got so bad. Like under every post now, there's someone like posting like they're like an OnlyFans bot, like posting their
Mhm.
nudes or something like that. Like you can't go to any post with like
Yeah,
a single one.
and yeah, I think that's also another thing too. Is just like with the new stuff, it's like there isn't many rules to say on there anymore. So like the rules are kind of just like don't do this, don't do that. It's not like, oh, we can't do this.
I saw some significantly more gore posting on Twitter. Like when it first some of the rules like first got like more lenient. Uh like um like normally so there's like this feature on Twitter called like hidden replies, and so like if you don't want a reply to be seen, uh, you can't delete it because
Yeah.
that would be, taking away like the freedom of speech sort of
No
ideas in there,
sense.
but
Yeah.
you can't, but you can hide it, like, which, to be honest, doesn't really work because if people know what hidden replies are, it's basically like you're pinning it
Hmm.
because there's a button under, like, right under the main tweet that's like view hidden replies, and so sometimes what will happen is like people will say something like absolutely moronic and then hide all the replies where people are
Or
like,
they're
that's
fucking
not true.
send porn or some weird shit, and
Yeah.
then they'll be like, "Do not check hidden
Yeah.
replies."
They'll say,
Yeah.
do not check for hidden replies, and then people will, like, post the most heinous shit
Hate
under
stuff.
there that will end up being in the hidden replies. Like, it's gotten so bad where there's like a Twitter account dedicated to, like, if people add it and be like, hey, what's in the Twitter replies? And the
Oh,
person
someone
will
did go
tell them.
scuba dive in there, bro. They're like, all
Yeah,
right, let me
yeah.
go see what's in here.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
day
I
not
feel
gonna come
bad for
back.
that guy, but
Yeah, he's not
man,
coming back normal, bro.
yeah, so true.
Yeah,
And
and I
he'll
mean,
come
I
back and
guess
he'll be like,
that
there's like a poop thing in there. It's like, oh,
well, I see. I think that's
I'm
also
not
what I
checking
was saying
that.
too with like the COVID stuff. It's like a lot of those like I'd say groups, I guess, kind of like festered in their own little corner of the internet.
Yeah.
But as soon as COVID happened, like every of those groups just like they just combusted and they just all spread together. And so like they're just prominent everywhere now. So a lot of the groups that wouldn't be as prominent are just suddenly everywhere. And I'm like, it's really weird.
I also think Tumblr not being popular anymore
Oh yeah,
also has to do
that
with
too.
that.
Yeah, I forgot. I had totally forgot about Tumblr. Yeah, that also because Tumblr had its own little group too. That were
Tumblr
kind
got
of.
better after Twitter got worse. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I wonder what that means
I
about Tumblr.
I have a Tumblr account on there just to post my animations, and
Uh-huh.
people are really nice on there. I was surprised. I was like, because everything I heard about Tumblr was like before a bunch of people
Yeah.
migrated over to Twitter.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
it's
interesting, man.
it's almost like when you remove porn, like all the other stuff starts, you know, kind of
There's like other
fixing
people who
itself.
like people were
And
like
I mean, they added it back, but it's like the people that were already there that were
There, yeah,
ruining
there.
the site are gone.
all
They're
Yeah.
the gooners have
Have
left.
left. Yeah.
No more gooning on Tumblr, guys.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Which
even
is
tell
funny
it.
too, because even the ones that are still on there, I feel like they're not as bad as the ones before. So it's almost like, what did that say about the people that were on before?
Yeah. But like when I post my animations of like Gordon Freeman or something like that, people are like, "Oh, this animation's so cool," or like someone's like, "I love Gordon Freeman." It's like that's I don't think I've ever seen negative, like anything negative under my Tumblr post. On any other social media website, like 100%, there's like at least one or two
Mhm.
that'll say something. Well, on anything that's popular, usually my smaller stuff,
Yeah.
people are a lot more nice. But
They were just
aside
haters.
from like bots, where it's
Yeah.
like, well, they're gonna be haters because they're robots.
Yeah.
The robots.
I mean, and that's pretty typical with like, as soon as you get higher views or videos or
Yeah.
you're gonna have your group of haters and they're just gonna orbit you, waiting for you to slip up at anything.
Yeah.
Shit.
Vultures.
Those people are like like people have entire like careers on YouTube, like with
Yeah.
just like orbiters that hate you, like obviously
Yeah.
like lolcows, like Boogie. Who watches Boogie's videos? Because man, I wonder what Boogie has to say about this. Nobody,
Yeah.
people are watching because like I wonder if Boogie like fucked his life up even harder this time.
Yeah. And that's what that like thing with like you can clearly tell like who's who and like how people act because like I you can see them a lot even like if you just see like a popular YouTuber you may be watching right now you just go check their comments and like you can tell like these guys are always here and it's like they're giving them views just to say like oh I hate you. I'm like bro why are you here?
And
Like,
even if you
People hating
dislike,
on LTG.
yeah, I mean LTG's not even on YouTube or Twitch anymore. I
Yeah.
don't think.
no I don't think
I
so.
think he might be on Twitch.
He's on Twitch still. I don't think he's on YouTube, but
He's
I
been
could be
banned so many
wrong.
times, who
Yeah.
knows?
I've seen him on Twitter,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
not like
that's just.
posting videos.
Yeah.
I saw him go to Kick, and I saw him go to Rumble for videos. I don't know if he's on Rumble anymore.
I don't
even know
think
if
he's
he
on
makes
Rumble
videos.
anymore. Yeah. I don't think he does videos. I think he's just strictly on like streaming sites. So I don't know if he's on Kick, but the last time I saw him he was on Twitch, but That was a few months ago, so he might have got banned from Twitch. Who knows?
You know, what to God, like I know people hate him. I know he said some messed up stuff, but like, dude, the guy, you cannot lie. That guy is like extremely entertaining. Like everything he says, like always has like this. Like his roast. Like obviously that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like his roasts are extremely funny.
Yeah.
Like he's just an entertaining guy. I mean, you know, a lot of stuff he did was fucked up, but he's funny.
There's drama going on with Tim right now.
Really? You know.
You didn't see when Josiah and the
they...
Formula and Lucius were claiming that he was
like a
groomer
or
or
something?
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
I did not know that.
Because some guy made a video calling him a groomer
I don't think that's like
with like no proof.
substantiated.
But
Yeah,
he just
I don't
said
think
it.
that. I mean, I feel like
allegations.
I was about to say those are allegations. I feel like that happens a
Yeah.
lot of the time with like bigger people that don't like.
Lucius and them were believing it anyway.
That's the
That
thing.
I
was
mean,
the
that's
thing. I guess
yeah.
they just want to. I guess they were just waiting on something like this to happen.
People just believe
Well-
allegations as like a like obviously allegations.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of look into them, but like, you know, people are innocent until proven guilty, and allegations with no evidence, like it's such a
you need to wait till all the facts are like laid out before you like
Yeah.
make any
I think a lot of
assumptions.
people have forgotten that. Like, I guess for people that aren't like really into the law stuff, like I mean, because I obviously going to school for it. That's pretty much the basis of it. Is like if you don't have evidence, man, you're not gonna win anything.
Yeah. And that ruins careers
Yeah.
for like people that are just minding their own business
Yeah.
with guy haters. Like Ryden's VA. What's his name?
Quentin Flynn, I think.
Quentin Flynn, also Henry Cooldown's VA.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got fucked over by that crap, and person who was accusing him was like, actually I'm sorry, but that none of that I said ever happened.
It happened.
Like,
Yeah. It seems to happen a lot, and it's always the ones that are like, I'll say it way too late, and it's like one of those things you can't. With these type of like allegations, you can't just be like, "Oh yeah, I take them back." No, like these are life
Those are
ending.
life ruining. People like end their lives over like allegations like this. It's like extremely serious, but people just throw it around.
Yeah.
I think Quentin's like finally starting to get his momentum back up, I would say. So that's nice to see.
Yeah.
I mean, even with all the allegations, like all that dream stuff, as far as like I remember seeing, like I remember like one of them was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the police about this, and you know that's it. Like I don't want to be like on the internet anymore." And it just never went. Like they checked to see if there were police reports or anything, and nothing came up. And it was just like, "Oh yeah, that wasn't true."
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff is it's like I was saying, like you it's really hard for people to accept that allegations aren't truth. Simply because like a lot of them are like, oh well, if this person says it and if they're popular, you know, they're gonna believe them, you know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's getting easier and easier to fake. Like
sometimes the opposite is true as well.
That's true. Yep. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what the allegations, and you need to wait.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, like some years ago with what was it, Tobuscus and this one woman, like said some stuff happened between him and her, and it ruined his whole career. And then she came out and said it was not true. Yeah, and by that point, it was too late. I say at that point, it's too late. That guy's literally insane right now. Like Tobuscus is literally insane right now.
Yeah, I saw his posts on YouTube, and he's kind of schizomaxing.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where unfortunately you can't really like do anything to like, oh, I'll compensate you, because like even if they were to be like, all right, we'll give you money, like that's not gonna do anything.
You're gonna ruin my whole career.
Yeah.
I got money now, but I'm still mentally ill after this.
And something that people don't bring up, like it's like, oh dude, or like, oh well, that just don't be a YouTuber anymore. Like people that have their real names tied to like their online identities, like once they go get a job somewhere else, they're gonna like, Google them during a background check or whatever, and they'll be like, why is there like a shit ton of people say you did this horrible thing?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, you see, people were like lying, but then people are like, well, we don't want to associate
with you. Yeah.
That can't be. Bro, you're not gonna have a single job McDonald's.
People with like the channels that are like almost too big to fail, like Pewdiepie, are like so lucky because of that. Because I mean, dude's probably like a millionaire by this point.
So yeah,
Pewdiepie, bro, even way more than that.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was about to say he's probably like a billionaire, bro.
He's like
a multi-millionaire.
Yeah,
but like.
Yeah, I don't think he's a billionaire, but a multi-millionaire. Yeah, I could see that.
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, think about how long he's been on
the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Didn't
Well,
he
are we
like
talking
recently
about?
move to Japan and shit?
Well,
Actually,
you don't
no,
need
I
to be
take
a
it back.
billionaire to do that,
Well,
though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, didn't he recently move to
I
Japan?
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think it was
He
a year
He
clearly
ago.
has millions.
also
Yeah.
started drawing like anime art and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in
Well,
his he's in his retirement phase right
he's
now.
been an
Yeah.
anime fan for a while though.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
that's yeah, he's been like a weeb since like his channel started.
I mean, speaking of that, I thought it was funny too. Whenever like he started drawing, and people were like, "There's no way you can do that." Like, yeah, what like patience and like time does to it, dude.
Yeah.
You can just
Patience and
practice.
patience, a lot of free time.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
a committed girlfriend or wife, someone that's very faithful. Who would have thought?
True.
Yeah, certainly helps a lot.
Oh man, talking all about like it's insane how like dude these people have been on YouTube for so long. Like think about it. Usually you think like, oh, your 15 minutes of fame are up, but it's like PewDiePie is still there.
Yeah.
Tobuscus is still there, but he's hanging in there. He's hanging in there.
He's hanging in there by a thread, but I mean, he there.
Like people have
Hang in there, Tabuscus.
they've been in the YouTube sphere for so long that they just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna retire. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. People usually just like, oh, remember this guy? Yeah, he just kind of stopped one day.
Yep.
Like or like his views went like super down. But
It's
like
actually
no.
hard to
Yeah.
believe that YouTube's been around long enough that people are able to retire off of it.
Yeah. But I
Kinda,
feel like
but-
it's also because of those people were the ones that were in there before it kind of got bad. So they were already kind of secure before like the downfall of it. So
Map Pat retired. Ray William Johnson.
I think it's funny too
Retired.
whenever people are like, why are they retired? I was like, dude, they're like old, dude. Like I don't know if you know this, but they've been on there for a
they're
while
like
now.
30. They're like 40s.
Yeah,
Some
they're
are
like in their 40s. Yeah.
That reminds me. Jeremiah's 40, isn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's like
he's not like he doesn't make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he has a channel where he uploads like edited stream clips, but still, it's hard to believe he's in his 40s because he still looks like he could be mid-20s. Like he could be like 5 to 10 years older than us. But
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
could have
way
sworn. I
older.
remember before anybody told me he was 40. I thought he was like at most like in his like early 30s. I
they'll
didn't
be
even
like,
think he
oh,
was.
he's 33. Oh, I
Yeah.
believe you.
Yeah, like I thought he was in his early 30s. I did not even think he was like in his 40s. Like, there's no way.
And I've been watching Jerma for like years, dude. I remember watching him like ever since I was in middle school. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad he, obviously, like I think his like back is messed up or something like that.
Yeah.
Sucks. But hey, that's why he's I think that's why he's retiring, or not retiring, but he's like, oh, there's gonna be like less streams.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I feel like
less
that's kind of like
Well,
what
isn't
a lot
he
of people should be
focusing on
doing.
on more like just high effort ones that'll take a long time, but he doesn't have to do as often?
I'm
Because
not.
like with the Dollhouse stream or something like that, or is that like him just like sunsetting his?
I remember him saying that he was basically like, if you see a stream from me, it'll be like it'll be like it'll be sporadic. Like maybe it'll take months, and it'll just be him like, hey, like what's up, guys? Like it'll just be casual. I think he's still gonna do high budget things, but I don't think he's gonna have like constant streams anymore that are like his regular streams are gonna be like, hey guys, why don't you play like I don't know like house building, the house builder game, house
Yeah.
remodel.
Yeah.
What is it called?
House flipper.
Yeah, house flipper.
House
He's like,
flipper,
why don't you
yeah.
play house flipper?
I mean, on the topic of games, like I was just thinking about too, like since it kind of like old, like what are some games y'all probably thought about like that are like, man, these games are like pretty big. Like obviously the first one I think of, because I was a big Halo fan, is Halo, obviously for me. But and I saw a lot more people starting to like mention it. I guess everyone started to realize they're older, so they're like, man, remember back in the day when you were playing Halo? Like,
Dude, what happened, man? What
Exactly.
happened? Where'd the time go?
Yeah, for
We're just like in our like very early 20s, and people were probably like, oh, like you guys are still fucking young. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of like what happens for most generations. They're like, oh, I feel old.
Shout out to
But-
the to the guy that grew up around a bunch of '90s kids. Literally, the
I mean, but
first
they are
console I
old
played was
games
all
if you
that
think
shit.
about it. Like Halo 3 was like in 2009, like Reach was in 2010 or 12, I think. So like it's been a while. Pretty
My
old games.
My favorite game series started a couple of years before I was born, and the second game came out a year after I was born.
I mean, like Halo came out as soon as I was born, bro. 2001. We're like, damn,
Yeah.
it's a while ago.
I mean, like you think about Persona. Persona came out in the early '90s.
Oh yeah, Persona's 2. Yeah, Persona came out. Yeah.
Like playing Persona 1, you're fucking PlayStation 1. Like, and even like
Yeah.
I was obviously like we, or at least I've been playing more Minecraft, and I was playing Java mainly, like on an older version. I think it's from 2018, but I played like the newest Bedrock version, and dude, it is like I can tell it's Minecraft, but it feels like I'm playing like 50 Minecraft mod packs at once. It is so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I think it's because they did that thing where instead of like making like mods that were, or not mods, but updates that were more like catered to like, oh, this would be things that are like entertaining. It was more like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff to make you like that have like more like cave generation, like copper. I don't know what anybody uses copper for in that
It's kind of
Minecraft.
they're just like filling any
Yeah.
like gaps they would see in just exploration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, they're adding
But I
hair.
Yeah.
like what are these like animals, like, oh, this, what does this animal do? It walks around. If you kill it, you get nothing. If you have it near you, you get nothing. It's
I
just
mean, that-
it's just hair.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me back to whenever we were talking about the, I don't know if that's controversial for some people, but like, whenever the whole dream stuff with the glow squid, like, dude, we literally could have had like a wizard, dude. Like, we could have had a wizard we could have been fighting, like,
No,
What
I
was
had a
magic.
the
fucking
other
glow
one?
squid.
What was the other one besides the glow squid? That was also, was it the cow?
I'm actually
Was that the
gonna
one with the gold with the flower cow or whatever, daisy cow?
I'm actually gonna look these up because I
The
remember
mushroom
was
crowd?
so. No, not the mushroom. There was like another one that was from that like originated from Minecraft Earth. Why did they cancel Minecraft? Didn't Minecraft Earth only last like a year and then they took it down for something?
like,
What's Minecraft? I don't even know what Minecraft Earth is.
It's like an
hold
AR
on.
It's
Minecraft
okay,
thing?
so it's like imagine like Pokemon Go, but it's like Minecraft and you can build like houses and shit like wherever you want in real life because it's
Oh,
AR.
okay, yeah, I see it now. That's crazy.
like
And that was cool, but it didn't really last very long. I don't
Yeah,
think.
a lot of mobile games don't last long. It's be real.
I
Unless you're
found the
Grand
thing.
Blue.
Unless you're top gotchas, then you're not lasting.
It's the ice. Okay, this is just like a picture. I don't think this is official. Iceologer, the Moo Bloom, and the Glow Squid.
Moo Bloom.
Yeah.
Glow Squid does nothing. I think it drops glow
It
sack
drops
ink or
like glow squid
something.
ink, yeah, and that's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
and people were trying to say, well, it will emit its own light.
Who gives
No,
a
it
fuck?
Well, first of all, no, it doesn't. And second of all, that's not useful.
Yeah,
It's just it kind of looks cool, I suppose, if it did do that, which it doesn't.
I'm like, and then like it was so crazy because like out of all three of them, right, they could have added like, why didn't they think of the one that would seem cool? Like, okay, there's a guy with like magical powers. I guess not add that. Just add a squid.
Here's the real question. What's stopping this like multi-million-dollar company that's partnered
From
with
adding all
Microsoft
three.
from adding all three?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah, this is the biggest complaint that a lot of people are starting to realize now. That like,
So people always tell me like, oh, they need to like test it a lot or something like that. And it's just like, yeah, I'm telling you that
see, I would
Okay,
believe
first,
them, but
these are like
people can make
blocks.
mods that add so much
Yeah.
stuff, so
The
why can't
cat.
they? You know, and these guys are not even like a big company, so you know.
They're
We're,
not
we're
an
talking
indie
about
company anymore.
Microsoft here. You know, they own Windows. They own like
They
the
have their own
s-
game
the shit-
studio.
yeah,
Yep.
they own this shit like almost everybody like owns a Microsoft related thing in their house.
Yeah, like if you're watching this podcast, like you're probably watching this on like your computer or something, and that's like
Yeah, you're
probably
probably
running
watching
Windows.
this on Windows, man.
So true. Unless you're some weird person like Linux or something.
You probably playing like Minecraft or Halo at the same time as listening to this.
Yeah, you probably got your Persona 3 Reload booted up while you're
So
playing
true. Persona
your
3. I watched all
Minecraft
you Persona
world.
3 Reload fans to know. I played it before you guys. I'm better. I'm better.
He's a veteran, guys. It's like, no. You know, okay, here. They should just get the people that did the Minecraft console ports to just make Minecraft. Like 4J, what was it, 4J
so
Studios?
true because the console. And it's funny you bring that up because like I was thinking about that because I was thinking about all the most fun I had, and obviously because we were on console, kind of biased, but at the same time, like it just felt like there was so much more fun at console because there wasn't
Dude,
that much going on. And
it
it was
was
like
so cool.
a lot of the stuff they added for us was like shields like at the time because I guess we were behind, I think, right, console was for
Yeah.
updates.
For a while.
So like we
Yeah.
got all the cool stuff that was cool, and then they got all the lame stuff that was new, and it was like we kind of got to play with the stuff that was a lot more better because it was like, oh, these are the cool stuff that was already in the update. So they clearly liked that one more, but I don't know. It's just weird.
It's just okay. The problem with
wait, that-
Bedrock. Wait, go ahead. Go ahead.
That reminds me, today actually, let's see, a couple of like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I actually got my mom to play Minecraft, and it she has like seasonal depression, and that's helped her a lot. Just playing Minecraft, it's something like she can do to keep her like okay. That that slurp made me lose my train of thought.
My bad.
um what do I think? Okay, so anyways, she has a lot of fun playing it. It keeps her mind occupied. You know, every once in a while she'll like show me what she's been working on in Minecraft, and like the stuff she makes like gets better and better over time, which is pretty cool to see. Like she'll make like a bunch of castles and towns and stuff in our Minecraft world. And just today, she told me that she had let's see, she got an extra phone from my grandma because we were trying to get, or my uncle was trying to get my grandma to use see if she could use like a smartphone or something like that. But that didn't end up like working out. It was like too confusing. There's too much going on with that, so she switched to like it's more like a flip phone type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just gave the smartphone to mom, and I guess at one point like a couple of years ago, and then this was a couple of years ago when I first started getting mom to play. And she had made a Minecraft world on it, but then like sort of abandoned it, and played Minecraft on her normal phone. And she went on the smartphone today and went and played on it, and she was like, and she has like people are like, oh well, you like the old Minecraft more because of nostalgia, and like she has barely ever played Minecraft like older versions, you know.
Mhm.
But as soon as she went on to the old world, she was like, "Oh, I kind of like prefer this. I like how the world was generating before Caves and Cliffs and all that stuff." I'm like, "Dang, it does not just affect people who are just nostalgic for the old versions. It really is like just doesn't feel as good."
Just like I guess real. I don't know if realistic is the right term, but if you look at the textures for like older Minecraft and the new ones, like new Minecraft is trying to be like really like like the saturation from the colors are like gone. The water is like darker, I think. Yeah, the water is like darker in a lot of biomes. Like the grass is darker. Like it is like it kind of lost the sense of exploration, trying to be like more realistic for some reason. Even like the world generation, like, oh, we have extreme hills now and like mountains. But if you compare like old Minecraft, it felt more like I guess like fantasy, or like I don't know what the word would be, but it's like floating
It was kind
mountains,
of,
islands.
yeah, it was kind of better when stuff was floating.
Exactly. Like
You could find,
you could walk
yeah,
anywhere and you see like this beautiful waterfall just floating in the air.
like that. Yeah, you know that one biome option? I forgot what it's called, but it's called like Beefy or something like that. And it just makes the generation like absolutely crazy. Like I feel like that's what they should have gone with instead of making it like more realistic generation. And yeah, what you're talking about with the saturation and the retextures and stuff like that, it's like I feel like it's kind of like losing its stylization a bit, you know.
It's getting too like I don't want to say like I guess the word would kind of be like safe or something. It's getting too like generic.
Yeah. It's getting like
Yeah,
too
I feel that
consistent
too.
where it's just not as interesting to look
I feel
at.
like it doesn't feel as like you're seeing fantasy, but like I guess you could use cartoonist in a way because like it feels like you were saying like realistic. There's not like the bright colors anymore. It doesn't feel like it's like a I feel like a better term like a kids game where it's like bright and
Yeah.
stuff. It's all dark and gloomy. I'm like this is pretty sucky.
So like a lot of the, and even in Minecraft, like yes, I've added a lot of cool stuff. They added the end. They've expanded the Nether. Um, but I don't know. I just kind of like how it was before, where you're like, hey, there's like villages. I think there might not even be villages on the version that I played initially. No, there definitely wasn't. It was older. It was a PC Gamer demo. It was way before that. I think it was even before that cows in the game. But it's kind of like, oh, there's nothing. You're alone here. There's absolutely nothing here. Just do
Yeah.
whatever you want. Now it's like, okay, well, I need iron and I need diamonds and I need to get obsidian. I need to go nether. I need to get ender eyes. I need to go kill the
Get
ender dragon.
netherite,
Then I
yeah.
gotta
Now you gotta get
get an
netherite now. So
elytra.
diamonds don't cut anymore. Netherite.
I
Exactly.
feel like it kind of peaked like right before they started like when they added the end it was fine because there was like okay, well at least you have like a goal to work towards besides just like building stuff. But like once they started adding more like types of goals to go into, I think it like peaked like right before that happened.
I think it peaked before right before netherite. Like when netherite came out, I felt like it started going downhill.
Although I do like the new Nether. I think I do prefer it over the old one. Like the old one, there's something like nostalgically cool about it, but I like the new one mostly because the block types they added were actually like very like interesting and not just like oh another tint of wood, you know?
Whoa, darker wood.
Speaking
Yeah,
of wood, Queso wood's the worst wood. I'll die on that hill.
Oh,
It's
which one's
ugly.
that one?
The orange one.
that's yeah.
Oh, that is a weird one, especially
It's
in the
Yeah,
so
that's
biome.
ugly to build your house out of queso wood. Like the
yeah.
doors and everything is fine, and like the wood itself, but like when
Yeah.
you make it into wood blocks, like planks, it's awful because you're
I
just
wish
making your house out of orange blocks
yeah, I also wish the door styles weren't like
tied to
um
the wood.
tied to the block type.
Yeah,
I thought that was stupid. They should make like a carpentry a block or something like that that's like made for different making different styles of wood. I think that'd be cool.
I think they have that.
Do they?
I think they have it for
Yeah.
like villagers to give them a job. I don't think you can interact with it though.
No, you can. Like it's kind of like how they have this the stonemason thing. Yeah, I think it is. I think
Uh,
I could be wrong.
but I
Though.
don't think I don't think it gives you the options to do what we're talking about though.
Yeah, yeah,
I
but
think
it's
that's
still on the
I
same
think it's
like
just
change
like I think it's just like optimizing making like stairs or slabs,
Yeah, that's what it
that
is.
sort of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
It's
was
like
dying to make more of those.
it's like, well, this saves time, but it's like doesn't really add that much interesting.
It really
yeah, but I guess it
doesn't.
also depends on like how you play Minecraft too. Because I mean,
Yeah.
me and Punch when we used to play, we used to be very violent. So our goal was just to build up and kill everyone in the world.
Yeah,
So
we used to go like all spread out and just like to different parts. Like, oh, somebody went north, somebody went east. Like it was just
you
like that, and then like I would get bored because I wasn't good at building. I'm still not, and I don't like mining,
same.
so I don't like crafting. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get TNT I'm gonna duplicate diamonds, and I'm gonna go find my friend's house and blow it up. And
Listen,
that's like all I did.
we call it the Great War in our friend group because I discovered duplication like really like during like our main like time we were playing as a group on Minecraft. And for the longest time, we had kept it secret. Like no one knew that we were duping until like way later. So like it had to be 5 or 6 worlds after we were playing for like months that they finally figured out what we were doing.
I guess
But-
why we had so many. Guess why we have to restart them each time.
Yep. And it was so funny because we had gotten it. We were making our friend so upset to the point that like he was losing sleep because he didn't know how we were doing so well. all for just to be duplicates.
Straight up got banned for playing Minecraft with them.
That is true.
When I used to play on Minecraft Pocket Edition with my stepbrother and sister, this was back when like the Nether wasn't really thing. Like you know when you had to do that like weird like Nether block teleporter thing,
Oh,
and you
the
had to
Nether
put a bunch of
reactor.
that version of Pocket Edition. Something about it felt so cool. I don't know why. It just had like a feel that was different from every other like Minecraft version. And the bugs that one would have were so weird, but they were so cool. But what we would do is we would basically start like a fresh world. Then we would go and like set a timer, and we would all go in different directions and like try to, you know, craft as many like items to help us as we needed. And then when the timer was up, we would go back to like the center where we all spawned, and then we would try to see who came out on top.
See, that sounds awesome. Why do they should bring the Nether reactor into like main Minecraft? That was cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it doesn't really do anything but just spawn stuff though.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
like
but-
a advanced spawner.
But what does like do the villager raids even do anything?
Yeah, you get a lot more diamonds and you get like a sell on. It sounds really dumb now that I'm talking about it. You get a sell on like the villager like
all the trades,
stuff.
yeah.
But the main reason you do it honestly is just so you can get totems of undying. That's
Yeah.
really it. That's the main thing that I use it for. That's the only thing I think anybody even cares about them for is just for totems of undying.
Whatever that, you know,
Yeah, but
looks
the
to be a
sales
fun
on
addition.
villager trades is pretty good as well.
I mean, it lasts a while. It's a pretty good buff. It
Yeah.
lasts a while on it. I think it travels through village. I could be wrong. I think it's just a village you save, but I could be wrong.
No, even if it's just a village you say, that's still pretty good because there can
Yep.
still be a lot of villagers unless you lose them all. during
Yeah,
your
which is
defense.
just
Yeah,
why you
the-
don't want to do a raid by yourself. So you want to have your friends with you.
And you just like lock them in behind like dirt or something.
You can, but some of the mobs that show up can like just like hit through walls. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That's. I mean, this guy, you know, it's probably not even that difficult to begin with. So I guess it doesn't even matter.
I mean, you can pretty much beat it if you have iron armor. Hard if you play Minecraft.
Yeah, especially with shields.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that- Just kind of like make everything really trivial. Like, oh,
shields make everything trivial, but it's one of those things where like for the base game it's trivial stuff, but like I guess for when you fight people it's like it seems like it would be really good, but it really isn't.
It's more
Yeah.
helpful when you're going to the end or nether.
Yeah.
it's funny to like launch people off of it though. They like start spamming your shield. They
Yep.
can just go.
Dong, 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 dong.
Yeah, just
It
hearing
is
it like
dumb.
hit over and over, it's pretty funny.
Like, you know, Minecraft, you know, such an old game. I remember people used to be like, "Oh, guys, Minecraft 2," and then like Minecraft was like Dungeons came out, and we're like, "Dude, no, Minecraft story mode, guys. What if they had like a Minecraft story mode?" And then they actually did.
I remember when Minecraft Legends came out and everybody was hyping it up.
Why?
And we
Yeah,
played it
like,
for like a bit, and then we just dropped it.
yeah, like, this
so
shit is
quick.
boring. This shit is not fun. I mean, maybe to, like,
We
a
all played it
toddler.
together like one time and then never played it again.
I remember I got bored during the tutorial. I was like, okay, well, this is. I'm sure for like some iPad kid, that's just
mean,
like glued to it.
Are we
it'll be
talking about
fun.
dungeons or what are we talking about?
I don't think you can. I think Dungeons is dead. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
Legends
but
is
I
the
thought,
first
but
one.
when we first played it, it was like, man, this is so cool.
And then
It was cool for the first part, and then like you play it over and over, and you're like, this is boring.
and then like, oh, that was cool. Like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, hopefully they don't. I mean, they might still make things, but seeing how they
Yeah.
haven't been as successful, I'm not down.
I don't see them. I think they're gonna stick to just doing Minecraft. No spin-offs.
Good because apparently they like, oh, it takes so long to add this block of wood, guys. It's new.
Yeah.
So maybe they do need all those people working on those side projects. It just come to the main studio and work on Minecraft, so
Yeah.
you can put in another block of wood. It's pretty much identical.
Speaking of like sequels and stuff, is there any games like y'all probably would want like a sequel to? I don't know why I thought of this recently, but I was like, cause Dead Space has been remastered. I really want them to be like remake the third one.
And especially with co-op. I mean, that's probably
Yeah.
the reason why. I mean, co-op was awesome.
Oh, was yeah, and I was very upset back then. Even though people don't like 3, I really wanted a 4, and they were like, no.
No, well,
And I
this
think
game didn't sell-
the biggest elephant, like everyone always talks about, is obviously Titanfall.
Oh, sorry to tell you guys, but
It's
you're probably
not coming
never
back.
gonna see. Okay, as long as Apex Legends is
Exists.
still turning a profit, you are
Yeah.
never
Never
seeing Titanfall 3.
So true. You have to play 2, bro. I'm sorry. I'm with you.
I mean, it sucks. Sucks to suck, but I mean, Titanfall 2 is still there. You can still play it. It's not dead anymore. Well, I mean, it's still dead, but at least you can play
It's
it.
less dead. You can play it at least. Not as dead as the first one. I'll tell you that much. You
Oh.
go try to play the first one on Xbox.
Ain't nobody played that right now, bro. I mean, I don't even know what I would want a sequel to. Like, I'm sure if I think of something, I would know. But I feel like most games that would have had a sequel by now have had a sequel. But obviously, there's some games that like the company behind it like died, so it's like, okay, well, we can't make anything anymore, and like nobody else buys the rights or really cares to do anything with it.
Yeah. I mean, considering Komegatsu's with like Half-Life, surprised you didn't say Half-Life 3.
I would like to see Half-Life 3. I'm not. I'll tell you this, bro.
I'm partly not even on the copium on that anymore.
Your
It
children
died
will
out,
probably
bro.
see
It's over.
Half-Life 3.
I mean, I see a chance now because
Of all
Half-Life
the
Alyx
updates
came
stuff.
out,
Yeah.
and thankfully I only really got into Half-Life like when Half-Life Alyx like only like a year or two before Half-Life Alyx came out, so I don't feel the same way about it as people who played it since like 1998 feel about
Oh my
it.
goodness.
The old heads.
Old
'Cause,
heads.
yeah,
so
I know
true.
the old heads be like, I mean,
Ah,
they're
back in my
sometimes
day.
sometimes they're under my videos being like, Half-Life 3 is not coming out, and it's like, bro, they made a Half-Life game like 2 years ago. Well, now it's like 4 years ago, so now it's like, oh, well, that was 4 years ago. Oh, you're
Your
right.
time is past, old man.
They're not gonna make a Half-Life 1
Well, they,
game again.
yeah. I mean, I know that like, we'll get things like, oh, they're making. It seems like they're developing something called like HLX or something like that. Well, they've been developing Half-Life 3 since, Half-Life 2 came out. It's like, I know, but like, it feels, I don't know, it could be closer more than ever, and it's not like there's a different Half-Life property that is churning like so much. It's not like Apex,
Yeah,
like they have CounterStrike too, but that's like a different IP altogether,
Yeah.
and I mean, Valve doesn't like to stick on to one project for like too long, and that's like what happened with TF2. So
they just like they like release a game. They're like, all right, next year's sequel. All right, we're gonna make another one. Well, there's been complications development. We can't decide on the specific thing you want to do, so we're gonna do nothing. And that's why Left 4 Dead 3 is there. That's why there's no. I mean, some of these games don't have it. Like, I mean, how could you make a sequel to Portal? To Portal
Yeah.
2.
I mean, there's a few games.
even though
I've been
even though the
thinking about.
writer
I
for
mean, you
Portal's like,
could.
he's like, I want to make a sequel for Portal, like another one, and I'm like, but the Portal 2 wrapped it up so well, and it's like, I feel like anything else that Portal could explore has already been done by mods. So like, I'd rather you just work on Half-Life, bruh. I'll be honest, there's a lot more you could do with that by this point.
Yeah,
Well,
like some games I was thinking about like that's at least in my recent memories like yeah, I wanted another Ace Combat game because it's one of my favorite series. I want there to be another game. I doubt they will because 7 was kind of like I feel like it's kind of decent where it stopped at. I don't know if they ever will make one because Bandai are busy making other games or hoping to make other games and
Bandai pushing out another mid as fuck anime game.
it's so true.
That
That
plays
and,
like
Kaizen.
Naruto.
Yeah, it's so
Did
true.
they make that?
Yes.
You said the president. Yes.
Yes.
No, but for my fighting game kind of spirit, I really want another Blaze Blue game. But I'm not gonna get that. Guilty Gear took over my game. It's over. Guilty Gear fans, I'm seething at you guys. I don't want you to play your game anymore.
Where's Persona 4? Like, where's Persona 5 read that?
We're not gonna get a Persona if I read it. That's
I'm
the
still
biggest
coping.
copium out of all of out of
It's
all
been
of our
years.
systems.
I'm still coping so hard though, guys. I think people.
It's not happening, bro.
They're too busy remaking our other
the
games.
leak,
Just be
the
glad
leak
you're getting,
for
you're getting
the
other games.
the big crossover game was already leaked to be like a Mario Party clone, bro.
It's so over.
Well, you can have a little bit of copium and opium here. I mean, just a
So
little.
true. Just a little bit of copium.
Just a nice little healthy amount. But I mean, I don't know what I would want a sequel to. Nowadays, I feel like if there was gonna be a sequel, it's been made. But I mean, like I guess Cry of Fear, I would like. I know they were making a Source version of it, and then now they're doing Unreal, and I know it's not.
And then
like,
he
a
cancels it.
sequel. Yeah, but I would like to see that be brought back up. Like, this is like a great game that started off as a mod on this. It's like on Gold Source, like Valve. You can have like a thing for picking up mods that started on like Gold Source. So I mean, I don't know why you guys denied him the support. You should probably get back on that.
You know what? I take that back. There's actually one I want recently. I want a Halo Wars 3 game.
That would be cool. I don't know why they haven't got on that.
I feel like it'd be a perfect time to start busting out sequels for Halo right now, because let's be real, Halo's dying right now. So branch out and get some new players, man. I mean, the RTS fans are always there, especially for Halo 2, Halo Wars 2. That game was a hidden gem, and I like how a lot of people are just barely realizing it.
To make a Halo Battlefield game, or like
That
Halo
too. That's also my
game.
biggest. I wish if I had the power to make a game right now, it'd be a Halo Battlefield game. And this sounds cool.
It does, because, and they should probably like get rid of 343. Like, guys, I don't know how to tell you. I mean,
I don't know to tell you this, but 343 is awful company, and I hate them.
Like, it is just flop after flop, and they're like, well, guys, for this time, dude, I did it on Halo 5. Didn't they go like, guys, we're going back to our roots in Halo?
No, and Halo 5 was my favorite because that's Halo Infinite is when they went back to the roots. Halo 5 is whenever they said, all right, guys, so we hired a bunch of people to make our game, and half of them didn't like our game. They hate Halo. Why would you hire people that hate your game? Why? Like, you're just self-sabotaging because you're making a game for people that want this, and you're like, all right, well, let's have people that don't like the game so they can add things that they don't like. Like, why would you do that?
And,
Awful.
oh man, I remember we started playing it when they came out. We were like, oh, this is kind of fun. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
it's
gonna lie,
alright.
I was definitely on copium when I played Halo Infinite because I was like, man, the story's not bad. And I was like, multiplayer's not bad. But as soon as they told me that multiplayer was not finished on launch, I knew it was a Halo 5 situation all over again. And it's even worse because Halo 5 multiplayer didn't get finished until maybe 6 months after launch, almost 7. And it's been years, and it's barely has like Forge right now. I think Forge and like some other things that should have been in the game right off the bat.
It's just released too early. I mean, Microsoft was probably panicking. They were like, dude, nobody fucking likes Halo anymore. And we're Microsoft. We need a Halo game now.
Yeah, I can see why they did it. It's not like I don't, like, I'm not dumb. I know why they did it, because it's their flagship game. They have to push it out. But it could have waited a little tiny bit, like maybe like a month or two to add a little bit more things, and it wouldn't be so bad, because it died out fast.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's still people playing Halo Infinite, but I remember seeing some posts that like almost nobody was playing it on like Steam charts or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, even then, Halo Infinite is at its spot where it's its own game now. It's pretty much its own fan base, and it's just competitive players from mostly Halo 5 competitive play, which I've known a few of them that switched over, like some of the bigger people. But even then, it's one of those games where it's like it doesn't have anybody from the original fan base anymore. It's its own fan base now because it's so different.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
I actually want to share this number. Um, so according to the Steam charts, I'm getting this from two different websites, but they're pretty much almost the same number. When Halo Infinite came out 2 years ago, it peaked at 272,000 players, right? That's so much. That was like, whoa, like, dude, like Halo, dude, like that's everybody being like, oh, dude, Halo's back to its classic thing. It's on PC. That's so cool. 6,600 active players right now.
Sounds about right.
You guys kind of
Sounds
just
about
bled your whole player base. Oh my! I'm looking at the graph, and they bled their whole player base like within like what is this November? Oh, dude, they lost the whole player base in like 2 months.
And it was mostly because of Microsoft's greed and the incompetence of 343. Because I'm not gonna say, as much as I don't like 343, it wasn't fully their fault because Microsoft definitely made them monetize every single thing inside that shop to be like really expensive.
Absolutely.
So, and that was also a big reason too. They shouldn't have done the thing where they're like, all right, we're gonna make food multiplayer. They should have just sold the game as a whole, and it would have probably made a little bit more money than it would have. Because I don't think it made anywhere near as much as they thought they would have with the way they did it. Because I don't think I've seen that many people that spent like that much money on the shop, unless it was at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
But even then, like no one. Even now, people are still complaining about the bundles that they have in the shop now. So that tells me that the people that they have already that are pretty consistently buying the battle passes aren't even buying your bundles. So like, you got a problem.
yeah, they don't even give a fuck. They're just like, oh, well, they're probably just already like second cost fallacy or something like, oh, I really spent so much on battle passes. I guess I should keep playing. But they probably don't give a shit about the actual game anymore. Or they're probably like like Dead by Daylight, like fuck, like this game sucks. This game kind of like sucks. Like,
Hey, it's kind of like those games that are like that. I mean, that's how I am with Destiny, and like that's how Destiny players are right now. It's pretty bad.
because dude, speaking of Dead by Daylight, like, dude, I played the game for years and years, and I was like, I stopped playing it for a little bit, and I was like, maybe I'm just burnt out. I'll pick it up in like a month. It's been like years. It's been like 2 or 3 years, I think. Yeah, it's been like 2 years since like I really played it like that. It's just, I know they keep adding. They're probably making more money than they ever made. They have like a whole separate.
Sure,
game.
with all especially with all the collaborations they've been doing. For sure,
Yeah. But it's like I feel bad for people that didn't play Dead by Daylight in like 2016, 2017, even pushing 2018, because that was definitely peak. And now it is just they need to do something else.
Yeah. See that. I feel like it's because they're on that train where it kind of went from, at least from what I've played for whenever I got a little bit into it to whenever you told me to start playing it, was the horror aspect kind of just disappeared.
And I get it was never meant to be a horror game per se. Like at first it was scary because when you first play it's kind of scary, especially when you go against a spirit. But they kind of lost. It's like TF2 where they kind of lost its like theme and art style. Like it went from the cosmetics in the game went from being like bloody clothes you get from playing a lot, and just like the different outfits that are so equally like torn up and are in character, to here's an elephant costume, here's a gamer girl outfit with neon lights, here is a steampunk outfit, here's an elf outfit. Like it lost. And I know they have to have these things because obviously who wants to buy like a grimy like piece of cloth from like the store for real money, but it sucks. And
I feel like that's what happened though, because I feel like the game was catering, at least from what I saw, was gonna be catering to people that were really into horror games and like horror stuff, and then it just kind of just bridged off to something else.
I will still say the whole K-pop killer, that I was like, okay, well these guys, this isn't the same people or like same thought of like, hey, let's make this game. This is like, oh, this is just for money now. Because I swear, I may be wrong about this, but I swear I saw that a Chinese company invested a lot of money into behavior, and then shortly after they released like the K-pop stuff, and that was so like out of like theme for Dead by Daylight. Like it was so weirdly edgy, and people would be like, oh well, for example, Ghostface is really edgy. He kills people, but it's like the K-pop stuff was so like Wattpad fan fiction. Like this
Yeah.
serial killer's in love with me.
And I think that's the problem too, is that they didn't realize that. But like things like Scream and stuff, they all have like it's already been a horror series for I don't know how long. So like you're bringing something that's already been very recognized in the horror category, and then you're bringing something like K-pop. Like, where does this come from, dude? Doesn't fit the narrative at all.
Yeah, and it's like, so one of the things it's like, okay, so I remember somebody arguing this with me when I was streaming, and I said that it's like really edgy and it's like laughable, and they were like, oh, I know, I remember now. I said the K-pop killer doesn't really fit like Dead by Daylight's theme, and he's not really scary or like terrifying. He doesn't really seem like a killer. And they were like, oh, but in the lore, he would torture people in the warehouse and then put their screams and pain sounds into his music. And he said he loves killing people. Like, dude, that sounds so like Tumblr.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see what you mean by edgy.
That sounds
Yeah.
so Tumblr, dude. Like,
it doesn't like if especially if you compare it to like the older like lore for like the older killers like Doc or like any of those, you're like that is like nothing compared to those guys.
yeah,
Or like
'cause,
Hillbilly, like come on now.
like Hillbilly. Okay,
Yeah.
Hillbilly was born with a deformity in the farm. His parents were like basically like ashamed of his deformity, locked him up into like this small room like for the rest like of his life, and like fed him like slop and shit. And
Yeah,
by
like
the
a
time,
pig.
yeah, and he got like tall enough and strong enough somehow to like break out. And once he broke out, he like murdered his family for that to get revenge. And then he got taken by the entity. And then it's like, well, this guy kills people and he's anime K-pop, and he's JoJo throwing knives.
Yeah,
So
and I saw people trying to do that too. They were trying to basically compare it because that's why I brought up Doc. Is they're like, well, Doc does the same thing. I was like, but Doc has a reason because the dude is literally a psycho. There's a
yeah,
big difference because a psycho was more like it was someone that got so into being science that he just became inhuman. So like you could like it literally was like, all right, well he wanted to do all these science things. He was like, you know what? I don't care what the result of doing my experiments. I want to know what it is. Like I don't care like if people die or do it. And he just did it.
yeah,
It's a big difference.
that was
And
definitely. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
You go.
Well, I think it's funny too because they bring it up too with Resident Evil getting added. And I always find it funny because it's the same thing I have to argue all the time because I'm a pretty big Resident Evil fan. They're like, "Well, Resident Evil's goofy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's goofy, but it's goofy in the way that like it's so unrealistic and creepy that it's kind of laughable at the same time. But it's very dangerous and like that in that world. It's creepy. Like you're telling me if you didn't see that like creature that's like a nemesis inside the
It-
real world, you wouldn't be running?
Yeah,
Like, no, come on.
it kind of cycles back to being creepy again. It's so like bizarre.
Yeah,
People forget that when you're Resident Evil, like you're playing as this like super soldier, not super soldier right now, like just this badass soldier. So like, if you were just a normal dude, like okay, look at I know a lot of people don't like Resident Evil 7 and 8, but look at Resident Evil 7. That one's way more horror focused. You're just a guy,
Yep.
you know, and that's terrifying, dude. Like that's so scary. That like. And it's like people don't realize that the reason why you're not seeing this be so scary is because eventually you're gonna get far enough in the game where you have like a bunch of guns
Yep.
that it's like a power fantasy at some point. But the themes of it are definitely scary when you think about like this
Yep.
whole city just like went out of nowhere and like 3 people survived,
Yep.
right?
4.
Or like yeah, like 4 people survived. This whole city, 4 people survived. What the fuck?
That's what's crazy though, is that people are like, "Oh, well, it's not scary." I'm like, but like even like the things that like you would think would like really like goofy, like the liquor for hand, like since like it has like its brain out and stuff. That thing is creepy, dude. It has giant claws. It's on the roof half the time, with the ceiling of the fucking places half the time. Like you're not gonna be freaked out if you see a tongue suddenly go down and like start to like no.
Yeah, that would freak me out. I mean, think of like the bugs in real life that people freak out about, and they are significantly not as creepy.
Yeah.
It could just be that people are like so used to seeing it playing Resident Evil that they desensitize. They desensitize themselves from just seeing it so much. It becomes normal.
I mean, like even like when I played the most recent one, like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's like the scariest game, but there's parts I kind of jumped at. I wasn't gonna be like, man, this didn't scare me. Like there's parts where they have the bugs in the game for the first one where like they camouflage. I don't notice them sometimes. They be freaking me out because you don't hear anything, you don't see them, and you just hear like
Yeah.
sudden noises, and it makes you jump.
Yeah, I mean, on the talking about like Dead by Daylight losing its horror is like there's nothing you can do about it now. That's just the game. I mean, what else have they added? Um,
I think they added recently like Chucky and like
yeah,
Alan
like
Wake.
Chucky, okay, like Chucky's not scary, and I think they know it's not scary because his voice lines. Chucky's like a comedy horror thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about the new killer though?
I think they butchered the execution. Okay, the concept of it is really cool.
Very, very cool.
And
Yeah.
and it's like very much modern horror with like, hey, this is like unsettling, like uncanny valley. But then he's like,
Yeah.
he's basically just like some alien monster thing that has like a grenade launcher made out of his like organs, and it's like, oh well, this isn't
Oh.
scary. It's just like he's just shooting grenade launchers that tag you. If he shoots you twice, you take damage.
Oh, you're talking about the Sentient robot. I think
No.
Come
Yeah, that's literally how bad Daylight has gotten. I'm not talking about the robot. I'm talking about the newest killer. They
Oh.
both do that. They both just shoot a projectile.
Really?
Right.
That's
Yes.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he has he has illusions, but it's it's like
That's what the sad part about that game too. At least in my opinion, is that like the crossovers they've added feel more scary than their creations they made themselves. Like they added, what was it, the alien before, which is pretty creepy in its own. The alien's always been a creepy concept,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, the alien one I heard is pretty good.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good.
And then
And
the
the pyramid
Wesker-
head and stuff like that, pretty creepy. If I saw a pyramid head, I am leaving. My
Me too.
soul's gone.
Albert Wesker.
Yeah, Wesker's pretty
that
good.
guy was cool. Even their
Man,
own.
he's not
killers.
even like that creepy, but he's like interesting enough and executed well enough because it's not made by the DeadByDaylight team. They just happen to implement him in that it could just kind of like works.
Yeah.
like whenever.
And so he's not like creepy, but he is intimidating, and I
Yeah.
think that's like most of the time I think that's like good enough, you know?
It feels like you're actually being chased by this guy that's like unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
yeah.
same way I felt whenever like they added the Legion skin for like Hunk. That was pretty cool, and it fits.
It's like if
pretty well.
Goku was chasing you, right? Like the dude's not like scary like on his own, but like if you know how powerful he is, he's like it's like oh
And then also it's so fun. More games should just like throw you around and ragdoll you.
Yeah.
I know you don't
Yeah.
ragdoll in it, but like him
But
picking
getting
you up
thrown
and
across
just
the map,
throwing
like
you.
this, like I remember
Like
the
in
first time I went
Helldivers.
against Wesker 2 was like whenever I was playing on the first time against him, and I just see like my one of my survivor teammates just get flung across the map. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm running away.
Dude, that's so cool, dude. And then, and then it's like the Chucky thing. It's like it's cool that whenever you get picked up by him, it's like his like human form as a ghost, but he's not scary. And obviously this is subjective, but Chucky isn't very funny. A lot of his
No, I
lines are
don't
not
think so either.
funny. I think he's just annoying.
He
like-
suffers from like trying to be like Deadpool type thing, you know what I mean? But it doesn't work for a lot of characters, to be honest.
Yeah, he talks too much. That's the thing I don't like
Yeah.
either. Like the killer's talking. It's cool sometimes. Like Wesker, it's really cool.
Yeah, but that's because
Um,
that's his character, you know what I mean? Like that's how he was built. And even like if
Yeah.
you don't know the series, you can tell that it works for him the way he talks.
and I also feel like if the voice itself is like pretty intimidating, like the voice actor, I think it works well enough that like them being voice acted doesn't bother you.
I don't think the
Point.
voice acting is bad. Like with the new killer they made, the little uncanny.
Well,
valley
the new
voice acting,
killer's voice I think is good.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
It's just
Yeah.
it just goes away. It's like in my opinion, like is like
It's just a case to case thing, I would say.
Yeah.
I think
It's
But yeah,
like
but I
if
get
you-
what Will's trying to, or no, Punchline means is that whenever you have a character that's already built up to be like you've already have a series of these characters that aren't speaking, it's kind of weird to start having ones that are just like, all right, I'm ready to start talking now. Like it's just like, okay.
Especially like I'm telling you, dude, the K-pop killer like started everything. Started with the voices.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like, it makes sense. Like, I like even when like my favorite killer in the game, like Legion, like they never talk, but they are just like chasing you around, and all you hear is them breathing on you. Like, oh, that's creepy. Doesn't knowing
Yeah.
that they're around you.
Like, I think the new killers talking is fine. I think the robot talking is fine too. I think the night killer talks sometimes, which I think is fine too because he's speaking some like thing that like you normally wouldn't hear, and it fits his character. I think Chucky talking is extremely like annoying and kind of ruins like I don't want to say mood because you know what that sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it kind of ruins like my immersion, I guess. And I think Pinhead also talking I don't like, but also Pinhead, I don't think that guy's scary. I think he looks cheesy and lame. And I'm sorry to people who like whatever movie he's from. I don't even know who
The
he's
box is
from.
open. The box is open.
Yeah, like
the box
the
is
box. You
So
open it
true.
and I came. Like, bro, like why are you saying this, bro? What is wrong
I
with you?
came. I came.
Yeah, he's like you opened
Open
the
the
box
box,
and
like
I
that.
came.
It's like, bro,
Well, I mean, he's literally
here.
a gimp, and his
Yeah.
followers are gimps.
but
Oh,
I don't
shit.
want to
What is
hear
it from
this.
Hellraiser?
The-
Right? That's
Hellraiser,
The
yeah.
movies have very obvious sexual undertones in them. It's very blatant with the shit.
Well, that
I
movie
mean,
sucks.
even what I've seen from like the movies, it's very like I've watched them. They're like shock factor gore, and I'm like, it doesn't really do it for me. At least for a horror aspect, it's more like, wow, this is just weird. It almost feels like yeah, like he was saying, it's too. It feels like one time, and it's like this is kind of weird. I don't know if I should be watching this.
Yeah.
So you don't need the voices to add. You don't need to give them voice lines for personality. Like look at the original three killers that came out. Like the trapper, his mask breathing, like his,
Yep.
like that you can okay, that's a trapper. Like you can tell when you hear him. The wraith is like the way that his breathing is like messed up, and he's kind of like he sounds like animalistic.
Yeah, and just the sound of the bell scares the sound.
Yeah, like oh, the sound design was so much
Yeah.
better, I would think. And then like
Yeah,
what?
they're like when I play as the Wraith, it's so good because I could tell when I like scare the shit out of people
Yep.
that I appear next to. They're like, I just go dong
Dong,
dong, and I
dong,
can see their
dong.
mouse moving around like frantically. And all that, like, yo, that's why he's like my favorite killer.
And the hillbilly's chainsaw, the way that you can always hear
Oh,
it like
man.
going like the sound of it on, and then you can hear in the
Yeah.
distance revving up.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the chainsaw guy from Cry of Fear.
Yeah, it's like that's so cool. Like like all these little sounds gave him personality. Like the Legion, when you like the Legion being more human than the other killers, like
Yep.
palading him, and they like they get mad
Just
at him.
cross yeah, and yeah, they can cross over it with that perk. It's pretty creepy. Like this is not a normal. This is not your average killer. It's a person just like you.
Yeah,
It's
like
here.
when they like get tired or they miss, they like get upset and they're
Yeah.
like they're breathing heavily. Like it gives them all like a unique personality. And even like Ghostface, like he's not even like an original killer, but if he gets like pallet stun, he'll like sigh.
Yep.
You know that like he didn't he could have they could have given him like the little voice thing to talk. I know they couldn't because he's technically not the licensed Ghostface from the movies. He's just the mask. That's the license they have. But even if it was from the movies, like giving him voice lines, like you could do that, but you wouldn't even have to do it to give him personality. Oh,
Yep.
the doctor laughing. That's another one. The doctor
Yeah.
laughing.
That one is pretty creepy, and especially whenever
Yeah.
he gets you to be like psychotic, it just makes it added effect to it. It's like, oh no, this one's a real one.
Yeah.
And what else? The clown, his like really like wheezy, like laughing and like him throwing the bottle like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Like there's so
And
many of
the-
them.
And then
The
his
chase
theme, his chase theme. Yeah.
The fucking whistling from Huntress.
Oh, see,
Oh my
Imagine
goodness,
if
yeah,
the
the
Huntress was,
lullaby
like,
sound,
talking.
yeah, that's creepy. Dude. Like she's singing, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
What do you
I
mean
think
by
for the
oh?
most part, the voice acting should be like limited to those kind of things. Just
Yeah.
just ambient stuff, stuff that adds to the atmosphere. You know.
Imagine if like Hillbilly was like I killed my parents. Like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna kill you next. Like, okay, bro.
I'm going to saw you in half. What the fuck?
Like, bro, you're making this like not scary anymore.
Like, dude, stop chasing me. Like, I'm not even scared of you, bro. You just
Yes.
sound goofy.
Hey, bro, go home. Go home, bro. You done.
You're done.
You're done.
And I think that's what the thing too is because they try to switch from being like inhuman creatures to like trying to be like, oh, these guys are like human, like they kind of like they can speak and stuff, and they understand you. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's kind of cool. I like things that are like, they don't know what you are, they don't, or they do, and they just don't care. They're just gonna kill you.
Yeah. But it's even the survivors have gotten kind of
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas, like, bro, okay. So I love Nicolas Cage. What the fuck does he know about Dead by Daylight?
So true.
Like, he's like, oh, you
He's
know,
clearly a comedy character too. That's what I don't get to, because people will be like, well, this is why we need more. I'm like, no, he's clearly in here just to be like comedic. He's not like serious.
like, we already have cool survivors. Like, okay, the first four, they're pretty like generic in the way they don't really have their own personality. They kind of do, like, in their portraits and like perks. But then you have like really cool ones, like, okay, Bill, when he got added because, you know, Steam. Well, like, Bill was like, okay, he's like the cool badass character, like, you know, nobody left behind. I think that's a perk, stuff like that. Unbreakable. And then you get David. He's like this, like, he's like your like offensive action like option, like, you know, he's like got muscles and shit. He's like a fighter, and you get all these cool things, and then you're like, Nicolas Cage, because he was in horror movie. Wait, was he even in horror movies?
He was just in that one that recently. That's why he was
He
the
was in
Finance
the-
Freddy's one. That's why.
Yeah. Not finance, not the official one, but
Yeah, I know the off-brand one. Yeah.
Off-brand
the one
Freddy.
that's based off of well, what Finance of Freddy's was originally based off of. I forgot what it was called though. But basically, the thing that predated Chuck E. Cheese. It was basically like Chuck E. Cheese before Chuck E. Cheese, and there's a name for it, but I forgot what it was called. But it was basically supposed to be that, but like Five Nights at Freddy's affied.
FNAFified.
So true.
Yeah, FNAFified.
Yeah, but I can probably pull up like some new Dead by Daylight cosmetics that like make zero fucking sense.
Yeah. I feel like it's with a lot of games though recently. It's kind of like, I don't know, a lot of games have been pretty pretty bad.
Definitely.
Like,
What
I
is
mean, but the way you like how you feel with like that, but that's how I feel with Destiny. Like, man, like I was there from the golden age of the first game and into the like middle age of like the second, and then it's just dying. It's just dying. It's like, man, this game sucks.
No, it's the fate of life service games sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like, but it sucks because whenever you're a part of the community for so long, or like a game like that for so long, you kind of know what could be fixed. And you're like, man, if only they did this. It's like they never listen because they just either they don't care or it's like it doesn't work for everyone. I'm like, but you could keep so many people from playing the game if you just fix this one problem. And they're like, no. It's like, why?
So like you can get to the point where like, okay, well now you guys have just like kind of, I don't know what you guys are doing, like PUBG X Dead by Daylight.
Oh my
why?
goodness. Talking about PUBG, I forgot about PUBG. I forgot a game.
PUBG was so fun.
It was so fun when it cursed out. Now it's just a mobile game. That's what it feels like.
You're like that was the best and worst decision PUBG came out with. Like partnering with, I think they were already with a Chinese company, but I think they went more into it, or like
Yep.
they sold more into it, and
Yep.
I'm
And it went the way of most games that's from that industry. They kind of just go full mobile.
Did y'all see their Evangelion collab?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, Evangelion. Well,
Why?
that's so twisted. I don't know. PUBG just
I don't
caused
know.
it.
I mean, Dead by Daylight did Attack on Titan, like
Oh
what
yeah,
the
that was
hell?
weird too. That was weird. Yeah. I don't know why they would collab with like things like that.
I'm telling you, it's definitely Chinese investor influence. I'm pretty sure that's why. Because if you like, when I was playing in 2016, you were like, "Hey, eventually, Nicolas Cage is gonna be in this game, and there's gonna be Attack on Titan skins." I'd be like, "I think you've lost your mind." I don't think you. Are you talking about like a different game? Like no, that's just what happened.
Yeah, but that's also the sucky thing too. Whenever you're like that, like the company, whenever you see a company downfall, that's the worst. Like Bungie, for me, that's how it was for Bungie. Like seeing them go from the graces of Halo to Destiny to like the downfall, pretty much right now with everything. And it's even funnier to me with Destiny, or with Bungie, because I was like, I was there whenever they were first with Halo, whenever they're independent, and then they switched off. They were like, I don't want to be part of Microsoft, and then they sold themselves to Sony, or not Sony, to Activision. And they're like, all right, we're done with Activision. And then like right after a few months or a few years later, they went straight to Sony. I'm like, you're doing. Why are you doing this? You went from being an indie, you wanted to be solo for like so long, you broke it, and then you went back to another company. Like
They were lying, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the practices that people were complaining about, like monetization,
was
they
there?
were like, "Oh, this is our parent company or whatever doing it."
It's
No, it was
it's
just
never
them.
been, and I always explain that to people that are Bungie people, because I'm like, if you weren't playing during Halo 3, bro, like I knew it from Halo 3 and Reach, like they were monetizing the hell out of it. Like you couldn't play maps. Maps, like map packs, were expensive as hell, and people forget that. And they were locked off. And at one point in Reach, you couldn't even play like certain game modes if you didn't have like the map packs.
True.
Yeah, it's pretty scummy.
Yep. And I think this is a good cutoff point. I think we talked about pretty much everything we wanted to get through on this first episode.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' thoughts on like the podcast? Is this like something fun, something cool?
Yep.
It's a good start.
Sure.
Yep. So I realize now that I forgot to introduce myself, but it's probably too late to now. But when we got to here, is it okay to say that like everybody's stuff will be in the description?
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, Komegatze's like your main channel is gonna be in the description. Everything you can find out about us. If you want Komegatze's like social security number, it's gonna be in the description.
What?
If
Along
you
with
want
his
his
credit
birth
card information.
certificate, yeah,
This is not true.
it's gonna be all down there if you want to go ahead and access that for me.
Yep. We're also going to be trading off some skins for CSGO. Compliments from Komegatze here. He has some pretty cool skins he's going to give you guys.
Sebastian, Belway is giving away his second child to our 100th subscriber.
No.
That's been gone. That boat has like sailed.
Yeah.
That was like a completed journey.
Win.
That was. Wait, how much is your second
Dang, bro,
channel?
you already did it?
What?
I have no knowledge of this.
He's lying. He already sold his second child. He's like, when Komegatze's second child gets 100 subs, Sebastian's gonna give his like second child away or something like that. Like that's.
When I reach 10 subs.
That did not happen. I don't have children.
That's been gone. Well, not anymore. Not after like
What
the
did
giveaway.
happen? No.
Not after the giveaway.
So you don't remember?
No.
Bro said he never had a child.
It's traumatic.
I know you
It's
don't got one
traumatic
now.
and stuff. I released it out of my
Shit,
memory.
maybe
You don't
it's
got
good
one
that you
now,
don't.
bro.
You don't even remember.
I mean,
man.
he don't got one now. You gave it away.
That each milestone on Komegatze Extra is gonna be another child he has to give away.
It's not none of
Bro,
mine.
where
Mine
are
are
you getting
gone.
all these children?
They're all gone.
Where are you getting all these
Mine are
children?
gone.
It's actually his
your time.
clones.
Yeah, they are clones. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lied.
I mean, it's more practical. But with that, guys, thanks for watching, or I guess thanks for listening.
Yeah, do another set. I know you're doing it at the gym. Do another set.
Do another set, and do another one to get like tear your muscles in in a micro tear.
Remember what they say: you tear your muscles, they'll grow back stronger.
They do say that. They do say that, but I don't think you should tear
Never
your
stop
muscles.
gambling, guys.
So
Don't
true.
open
Prove it
that
for
case
me.
up.
I'm a CSGO gambler.
Murder
It's
is
not addictive.
okay.
Or what does he mean by that? In video games. Not even in
If you
Minecraft.
say so.
Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna leave it with that. I guess we'll see if anything comes of that within a
Yep.
few years.